Hi, I'm Tom Bisio, and I'm back with the third volume of Liang-style Bagua concepts. In this DVD, we'll be introducing the Bagua Lianwan, or chain linking form, which builds on the Dingshi and the Laobaozhang covered in the previous DVDs. So where one is holding fixed postures and moving, the other is changing between postures, this form focuses on continuous, unbroken change in a linked fashion. Lianwan literally means interlinked rings, so the focus here is on a smooth, unbroken movement with the introduction of the dragon body, which uses a rippling or spiraling action through the rib cage, emphasized more than we've seen it in the other forms. Additionally, there are two movements that are representative of this form. One is the black dragon waves its tail, the other, the sparrowhawk, spirals up to heaven. Once we introduce this idea of animal concepts, we see that this form has some elements of Xingyi in the idea of changing the intention to change the body shape, and therefore taking on animal shapes and formations through a simple change of the intention. Particularly, we'll see the tiger, dragon, hawk, and monkey. Furthermore, we'll be using the crane stepping, which is a varied form of mud stepping used in some styles to create kicking ability and to create a flexible use of the legs. An additional factor this form introduces is staying aware of the 8 directions. So each change is made in a different point on the compass, which is related to one of the I Ching trigrams. It has the function of making you aware of your surroundings and having to remain aware of your surroundings while changing and moving. There are many types of Bagua Lianwan, even within the Liang Jinpu system. This form is my favorite. I learned it from Gao Jiwu in Beijing. The Lien One form makes use of the crane stepping. The saying about crane stepping is lift the leg like a crane, step down like an ostrich or a camel. So this was developed in the Song style Bagua to develop kicking skills and to have a flexible leg. And it's in this form, it's utilized quite extensively. So we'll cover the crane stepping in detail, and then we'll look at the black dragon waves its tail and sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven, which are the signature moves in this form. All the alignments of mud stepping are the same. The head erect, the bending in the hips, sinking in the legs, landing with the whole foot on the floor. But the added element now is that the leg, when it comes off the floor, with inhaling, and then exhaling and stepping down with the foot flat. Reaching out 1 more inch and shifting the weight forward. So as the leg begins to lift, inhaling down in the dantian. As you begin to step down, exhaling, the foot lands flat. It's important to keep the tail down so that the Mingmen opens, this area of the back opens up as the knee lifts. And this creates a circulation of the microcosmic orbit up the due meridian in the back and down the red meridian in the front. Slow, steady, even, without swaying the body, as though you have something balanced on the top of your head. We also want to avoid going up and down with the body as the leg lifts, so the body is stable. So crane stepping, by this lifting of the leg, opening the Mingmen, uses the back to lift the leg. And that allows the leg muscles to be very, very relaxed, which makes it much easier to just throw the leg out, as though the foot is a brick on the end of a rope. It also allows the body to have multiple abilities to kick in the course of a step, or to kick and change the step. So it's very, very fundamental to using the kicking skills in Bagua, and it's one of the main kicking exercises in Bagua, as well as being a key Neigong practice. Gao Jiwu advised doing half an hour of practice, and said that even in winter in Beijing, you're sweating by the end of half an hour. The black dragon waves its tail is seen at the end of most of the palm changes, so it's one of the most repeated movements in the form. It's a key movement to develop the qualities we talked about in the second DVD of twisting, wrapping, drilling, and overturning. So the basic movement from a guard position is to coil back. The right arm coils inward, the left arm also coils inward, and then everything reaches out to pierce outward, followed by a kick and a pierce. Okay, so the basic black dragon waves its tail is just this. In the form, it's often followed with a pierce and kick. And the leg also coils, which allows the body to step in different directions or to kick at that moment, while the hand controls the opponent's hand and goes back to strike the center line. This hand must stay by the elbow so that as it coils, it's ready to follow with a piercing strike so that one can walk the circle again. So there are a lot of ways to use this, but a simple way is just on a punching attack, deflecting and attacking again, which if he defends that, it allows us to do a piercing strike as a follow-up, or escaping from grab. So a simple grab here, twisting it out to escape the grab as one steps. This hand coming in to create locks, or if it's grabbing the other way, creating locks this way, escaping from grabs, coming the other way to pull down on a straight grab this way, coming in and taking him down into a lock. So the Black Dragon waves his tail can be used to just get behind people, to be flexible in the movements. It basically employs the dragon body so that it's not the hand that does the action. The hand stays still while the body executes the movement. So this idea of the dragon body. If the other hand comes, this one's spiraling. So as the right hand spirals, the left hand also spirals. And that sets up some of the applications we did in the second tape. The second key movement usually follows the Black Dragon waves its tail in two different ways. One is with a pierce and kick, and then from the pierce and kick, you're drawing up using the psoas muscles, coming from the back to lift the knee. And as you lift, you're turning to take the first bi-step that's going to bring you back to the tight circle, and then walking onto the bigger circle. So this action, especially done with the kick, makes you have to engage these internal muscles to lift the leg, so that again the leg can stay relaxed and kick in multiple directions. So once again, one method, pierce and kick, drill up, lift the knee in a type of crane step and step out and walk a tight circle. The other way is just to come out of whatever movement you're finishing, say a low movement, and shoot straight up into it. So here there's no pierce and kick, driving off the rear leg, which can itself be a kick, or it can be a knee strike, and going straight in to Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven. Okay, so this is an extreme version of what we did in Laobajang with the wrapping, drilling upward, overturning, and engages the lower body much more for applications. So in terms of meeting the opponent's hand, if he's pushing against me, I can use this to take the center while I smother the other hand and use the leg to attack. That allows me to step down on his leg or to walk through the stance and break it. Or we could come off the Black Dragon waves its tail, moving to his threat in the face as he passes it, taking the outside line, the knee coming up, and again I'm stepping down into his leg and into the other foot as I start to walk the circle. Okay, so now we'll look at Bagua Lian-Wan, the continuous chain linking form, in more detail, palm by palm. Each palm has about 7 or 8 movements. I'll break them down slowly, talking about the key points, and then we'll look at some examples of applications. So the form begins in the east of this circle. Step out into the downward pressing palm from the Dingshi. Walk a circle and then begin to wrap the right hand underneath, forming hiding flower under leaf, spiraling up, and the millstone posture. The same movements we used in Laobajang, but now moving. In the northeast, turn and cut, pierce as you toe in. And then cover, the white snake spits out its tongue. The old tree entangles the roots, dropping back, pierce, and pierce and kick. Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven and walk a tight circle. And then back onto the larger circle. So again, the beginning, like Dingshi, opening the form, stepping with the right leg and pressing down.
hiding the flower underneath, overturning, toe in and cover with the elbow, step and chop, toe in and pierce, turn over the body, the white snake spits out its tongue, entangling roots, pierce, kick to the knee and pierce, lift, spiraling up, sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven, and step and walk, a very tight circle. So now a tight toe-in step and a big baibu step. Tight toe-in, big baibu, and then walk back onto the larger circle. So the first movements of the first palm change involve this inward wrapping or twisting motion followed by an outward cutting action with a co-step and a bi-step. And that swings the body so that the body generates the power coming from the waist and the arm is relatively still. This is going to be important when we deal with punches. So if we're squared off and he throws a punch, I'm cutting across it this way by rotating my body, right? Again, the action is to rotate while this hand covers, and then to rotate back and chop, going into the side of the neck or behind the ear. So again, a little bit quicker. The second, we can build off of this so that if he throws and he stops this one, we just do it again. All right, so the body folds the same way again and comes in another time. And what you're seeing here is that the baibu step is much less than in the form. The form does it more extremely. In application, it's going to be a shorter step. So again, slowly he comes in with the punch, cutting it, taking his hand and cutting again. And then at speed. Okay, we can take this one step farther yet. If I block the punch as before and he stops it and I go to chop, many times people will lift their elbow to cover. So I'm going to convert now to the black dragon waves its tail to throw a hook punch to the body. What I have to watch that his head doesn't snap forward so that as I'm throwing the hook, this hand is still covering. Right? In the black dragon, it's right here. So if I keep it right there, it can make another attack. So one more time, he punches, he raises the elbow, hook to the body. And then lastly, there is one more possibility, which is that he throws again, I come in and he grabs the wrist. So we convert to another version of Black Dragon waves its tail to take him this way and attack the face. So again, slowly, he covers and grabs using a chin-ah technique to roll him to open up a strike to the face. So again, a little quicker. So we have the movement, the white snake spits out its tongue, and the old dead tree entangles the roots. Right, in the form, I go in this direction. But in application, I can also do it in the other direction. In the form, it carries me back to piercing and drilling. In application, perhaps he comes in on this side. I'm going to shoot this at the face, which, again, let's do that again, causes this kind of flinch reaction, and that allows me to step in and execute a throw with the body going down. So the idea is to move away from him in this. Again, slowly, attack the face. As he stops it, he can stop me here, but if I step into him with the body, my hand cuts the face. And then we can catch the leg and take him down. A little quicker speed. Okay, and then lastly, we'll look at another way to do Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven. Another thought about it. Again, that move was coming this way, right? Drilling up, lifting the knee, and going to the millstone. So in the situation we covered before, if our hands meet and there's force against me, I can enter with a piercing palm. And as I enter, this can strike. The elbow is also catching the rib cage as my knee comes up along his leg. And that allows me to step down on the back of his leg so that I'm shearing the calf and the Achilles tendon. So if we look at the thing a little more smoothly, coming up, the knee strikes, coming down and planting him. So a little bit more quickly, our hands meet. Looking at the second palm in Bagua Lian 1, starting from the millstone posture, walking the circle, and then toeing in to turn the body over, and the green dragon offers its claws. Shake the body and drop downward, drilling upward to form phoenix faces the sun. The king of heaven holds up the pagoda, and then the black dragon waves its tail, piercing up and walking. Tight circle, and then out onto the larger circle. So again, the key here is to do a very tight toe in and then a big Baibu step. And as the hands hit, the leg kicks low. Again, we want to swing the leg as in the crane step with this dead weighted quality as the hands hit. And then the body shakes by changing hands and shooting backward. Going low and then spiraling up so that the whole body rises upward with the knee turned this way. So this is to get away from kicks and also to set up stopping kicks. Stepping down, the king holds up the pagoda. Black dragon waves its tail. Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven and walk a tight circle. Tight kobu, big baibu. And then on to the big circle. In terms of applications, we'll look first at the green dragon offers its claws or shows its claws. Our hands meet. My other hand comes in to attack the face, so he may raise his hand, but it's this hand that's really making the main attack, going to the eyes and pressing down. So again, as our hands meet, this one rotates out with, again, that drilling, spiraling action. This hand wraps into cover and then striking over the top to throw. So at a little quicker speed. Okay, the next application we'll look at is a variant of this, which is more exactly like the way it appears in the form. So when his hand comes out, similarly, now I'm going to throw a kick that cuts across his legs and kicks the back leg. So when he covers with his hand, I'm stepping back. All right, and there's also the potential in this, in stepping back, if I get caught on his leg, to take it with me. So let's look at it again slowly. Our hands meet with this, again, I'm turning with this drilling action and then turning both hands to strike as I kick across the back leg, across the front leg and into the back leg, then stepping back to go down and out. So the same application again at a faster speed. So if we look at one of the next movements that follows, the dropping down movement, raising up to phoenix faces the sun. If our hands meet similar to before, turning outward and stepping in, hooking, driving this up to the face as I break the elbow here. All right, so the full follow through is going to be to here. So again, stepping in, driving up, breaking the elbow as you rise up. At a faster speed. So from Phoenix Faces Sun, we have this movement of the King of Heaven holds up the pagoda. The pagoda is usually the person's head or neck. So let's take it from a jab cross. I'm evading the jab cross and following in. The key here is that I don't retract this hand. Instead, as I come in a little deeper with that, as I pick that one up, this hand is already in motion to attack the throat and take him down. Okay? So again, just that move. Now, he's grabbing the hand, which is the natural reaction. So the follow-up can, again, as he grabs, be the black dragon waves the tail. Right? Our normal thing would be to follow through. So you're dislocating the elbow and the wrist and setting up a hand strike. So let's take that a little bit quicker, the double punch. In the third palm, we're walking the circle. And this time, we're going to toe out to the outside of the circle as the arms swing, crossing, spiraling, The legs keep stepping until the body coils and explodes out with a double strike. Then drilling upward, retreating. So this is the drilling and overturning movement, but turned into a joint lock attack, siding the grass in one's white robe. And then the cat washes the face as we withdraw to an empty step. The body coils again as it pierces. The unicorn holds out the book, and then strike with the pouncing palm. The black dragon waves its tail, pierce and kick. Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven, walk a tight circle, and then walk on the bigger circle. So if we look at it again, turning, walking 5 steps as the hands spiral and wrap. The body coils. Look, just as the body turns to the new direction, the head leads it, and then the hands explode outward. Drilling up as you withdraw and pressing down. The cat washes the face, spiraling the body to drill and twist, and then pounce with the palm. Again, we want to watch this step, that we're not overstepping, sitting down, the same as the old monk holds up the alms bowl, and then black dragon waves the tail, pierce and kick, drill, sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven, walk a tight circle, and on to the bigger circle. In the third palm, we begin with a walking, spiraling movement. Taking 5 steps in the form to do this double strike outward. So if we look at that with a partner slowly, he comes in with a punch, I'm parrying across, a passing parry, so the second hand can attack the face. As I continue to walk, this hand turns, and I strike the face, either chopping the neck, or if he's still got his head here, attacking the eyes, coming against the elbow with my body as I wrap, or I can catch it and wrap, and then striking the back with the elbow or with the forearm. And that just takes me on into the walking to get behind him. So again, slowly, walking, coming off line, raking the face, chopping, breaking, striking, walking. And then a little bit quicker. Pay careful attention to the footwork. As he punches, I'm taking a baibu step to the outside, blending with his strike, while this one pierces out. My next step can go behind his leg, or I can walk in front. So as the hand turns and cut, I'm walking, turning against his body, and walking. Now in the form, I take 5 steps. Here it's reduced to 3. Right? So the form develops a nice slow action in this. In application, I have to turn everything much tighter, so it becomes 3 steps. In the next movement, we're drilling upward and cutting, siding the grass downward. So just like using a scythe. So let's take a right jab and a left cross, drilling up to catch this, and then cutting the wrist downward. So this hand is pulling up, and this one's pushing down, just like using a scythe, and I drop the body weight down. So again, a little bit slower. He comes in, drilling up, stepping back, and as I land the weight, pressing this down. At speed. The next movement was the cat washes its face, followed by the unicorn reaching outward, offering the book, and then the pouncing palm. So the key here is to roll this across the body with the ribs, and then spiral across the body to twist him. So when he comes with a jab, I'm washing the face by covering across, using the rib cage to make the action. He follows immediately with the next punch. Twisting the body gets me to the side of it and pierces out towards him. If he tries to raise his other hand to deal with that, I'm attacking immediately with the pouncing palm. And when his foot is here, at the moment of impact, I'm breaking into the weak point of his stance. So if we look at it again slow, parrying, cutting across, and then moving into the weak point of the stance. Quicker. The fourth palm change begins with a groin striking. So we toe in, again cutting across to cover. The arm swings, but instead of, as in the first one, swinging straight across, we're swinging from low to high, sweeping upward while the body steps underneath to strike. Then bai boot, off an angle. So if my opponent's at my back, I'm stepping off the line to chop, chop again, and strike upward. This movement is repeated again. And then we step back to shoulder the broadsword. So a joint locking technique, followed by offering the melon, rolling the left wrist inward as the body rotates, and then drilling upward. So again, we see this is another variation of drilling and overturning. And then brushing the eyebrows with gold silk. Black dragon waves the tail, sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven, walk a tight circle, and then walk out on the big circle. So again, from the millstone posture, toeing in, cutting across as the body waves right, as the body waves left, the hand sweeps from low to high, strike the groin, chop, and strike upward. Shouldering the broadsword, offering the melon, rolling the body, drilling. Brushing the eyebrows with gold silk. Black dragon waves its tail. Drill, sparrowhawk spirals up, and walk. So first we'll look at this groin striking motion. And let's take it off a jab cross. I'm going to cut and cut again with the same hand, and then move inside to strike the groin. If he flinches back from that, then I'm going to turn. And this is the start of my chopping motion. I'm going to use that to break and throw him towards another opponent. So again, fading back and cutting both, stepping in to strike the groin. If he flinches away, turning to break, which is the start of this motion. Let's look at it again a little quicker. Okay, next, the chopping hand. So again, when he comes in, I'm moving off the line. Right? So I follow through. As he moves in, I want to, even if I cut it close, I'm going to end up to his flank, which in this case might bring me behind him. If I step back initially, then it'll take me farther out, striking the forearm. My next strike goes above the elbow to bring his arm down. And the third strike comes upward to strike the carotid artery or to throw him down. So we want to look at this as overturning, wrapping, and then overturning, spiraling upward to overturn back the other way. So if Nelson comes in, I step back and chop and strike. Do it one more time slow. Striking the upper arm, striking, and off balancing. So again, doing it a little more quickly. So now we're going to look at the movements of shouldering the broadsword, offering the melon, and brushing the eyebrows with gold silk. They could be done as individual movements, but they're also a continuous flowing sequence. So if I bait Nelson to give me force by attacking his face, he's forced to put something up. And instead of stepping back, I'm going to step in with this to try and lift him and break the elbow. He's going to bend his elbow to cover, so I'll attack to offer the melon. When he covers with this hand, I'll switch to the outside and brush the eyebrows with gold silk to a takedown. So again, offering the hand, shouldering the broadsword, offering the melon, and brushing the eyebrows. Let's look at that one again. The fifth palm begins with escape and hide the shadow. This is a baited retreat where you retreat to make the opponent chase so that you can come back at him. Or when you're caught in a bad position, you use the retreat to regain a neutral position. So As we're walking the circle, toeing in, sweeping the arm from low to high and running 2 steps, and dropping down low. So again, running and dropping down. And then retreating with the sucking step, which is like a monkey hand, reaching out to grab and come back. And then the leopard cat climbs the tree. Turning to strike. Black dragon waves its tail, pierce. Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven and walk. Tight circle, and then onto the main circle. So again, turning, retreating, and then counterattacking. Sucking backward with the step to form monkey hands. Strike and come back. Leopard cat climbs the tree. Turn and strike. Black dragon waves its tail, pierce and kick. Sparrowhawk spirals up and walk. Let's look at an application of the first movement, which is escape and change the shadow. So in a situation where Nelson has gotten position on me and he's starting to turn my body, I'm going to end up falling this way unless I use footwork to escape. As he pushes me, I'm going to walk away to this new position. So in the form, you're taking this stance in preparation to attack, but it can just be used as a reset. I'm caught, so I move away off the angle. So a little bit quicker. As he outpositions me, I'm gaining ground away from him to reset and take a new approach. One more time. When he comes in fast, I'm moving away to the flank to reset my position. Okay, the next movement, retreat with the sucking step to strike out with the hand, and the leopard cat climbs the tree. We'll take them sequentially. So on a jab cross, I'm using these monkey hands to absorb the punches and slip off slightly to the side. And that sets up this hand to attack. So a key part of this is not to pull my hands back, but to just fold the punches inward. And that makes my hand come back around, and that black dragon waves its tail movement to attack the face. This movement is like a monkey grabbing fruit, so it's very fast. In case I miss Nelson, in this, let's take it again. If I miss him and he resets, so you're going to parry with that hand. He resets, I'm back on guard again. All right, I'm particularly worried that when he parries and resets, he's going to punch. So if I'm back on guard, it sets me up to do the next part, which is this running attack. So one more time, a little bit quicker. Let's add the next piece to this now. We retreat with the sucking step, but Nelson escapes by moving back. So I'm going to chase. Using the leopard cat climbs the tree. And either the kick will take him down, or if the kick doesn't take him down, that folds him. Maybe the final step will be the finishing strike. So once again, slowly retreating. As I attack, he retreats, and then the leopard cat climbs the tree. And more quickly. One more time, quickly. Lastly, we have this movement at the very end before we come to the black dragon waves its tail. So as Nelson comes in, I'm moving to the flank. This sets up my kicking attack. It also, in case he was kicking and punching, it removes me from the path so it can get me into the back leg. But the main movement is to parry and strike with this hand, having the legs set up to kick or to move. Right? Because essentially, from a Bagua perspective, I'm merely setting up a Baibu step that could go into him, around him, or be a kick. So a little bit faster. And we can see this, when he came in deeper, it becomes a knee strike. This hand is ready to punch the elbow. Another way to look at this one is perhaps we did a throw in one of the earlier tapes where Nelson comes around and grabs me by the face, and his intention is to pull me back this way. So another way to look at this is as he pulls me, I catch his fingernails and twist out. So again, as he tries to pull me back, I ride it, holding his fingers, and come to this back position. And a little bit quicker. In the sixth palm, as in Lao Bajang, we have this movement of the 10-ton weight falls to the ground. So here it begins the palm change as we're walking, toeing in, stepping back to pull the 10-ton weight down, and then the sun and moon advance together. So we have this yang and yin fist and open hand. The golden cicada sheds its skin, brushing the sleeve to play with the pearls. And then stepping forward to chop, Da Peng spreads its wings. Drawing back, hiding the flower, and turning with a dragon body move that resembles Xingyi alligator, and then turning to do the same move to the back. Piercing, twisting, driving down. Spiraling up, and Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven to walk a tight circle. And then on to the bigger circle. So once again, as we're walking the circle, the 10-ton weight falls to the ground. Sun and moon advance together. Golden cicada sheds its skin, playing with the pearls, spreading the wings. Alligator or dragon, piercing upward, driving downward. And Sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven. So a key point in this form is to develop the hip and leg strength by driving out of the low position, keeping the body alignment, and converting that into an upward drive that spirals you back onto the circle. So let's look at the application of the first set of movements. The 10-ton weight falls to the ground. If I'm trying to evade to the side and our hands meet, I can step back and drag on the wrist to pull him down. Again, the key is to pull him to the middle, in between us. If I pull too much towards me, he's going to come slamming into me with his body. So as our hands meet, pulling down, straight to the middle. Alternatively, if we turn it around, if I can get more to the side, I can grab his upper arm and pull that down to the off part of to the weak part of his stance. And we'll look at that on the other side too. So again, if he comes in and I get deeper, I can move back, pinching this nerve in the upper arm and then pulling straight down. So a little bit more quickly. The next move builds off of that. So maybe I try and pull Nelson down, but he shuffles in against me, so the sun and moon advance together. Generally, he's going to try and bring this other hand. So as I pull him down, this one can smother that while I strike upward. So a little bit quicker. And then we can take it one more step. I try to do this, he comes in, I punch, but he smothers it again. So now I'm going to use golden cicada sheds its skin to twist him and throw him. And this was very similar to one of the applications we used in the Dingshi yin-yang fish posture in the first volume. So again, pulling down, attacking, and then stepping into golden cicada sheds its skin. And a little bit faster. Okay, so now looking at these movements, Xingyi alligator or dragon's claws coming across the face. If we go from a jab cross and I pick up the cross, I can simply turn the body as I make this step, coming against the elbow. Or from the other positions, coming against the elbow this way. So this has to drill to cut that elbow. It also, if he gets loose from it, it sets me up to spiral up and attack again, which is the single palm change movement. If it's a jab cross, twisting to break the elbow, and a little bit quicker, All right, if we follow from that, more slowly now, if I get in here and Nelson pulls down, I can turn this back to rake the face and create a throw, or it can be done more directly. So our hands meet. He just comes in with a straight punch. Our hands meet, and guiding him to the side. This is raking, this is lifting, because my next movement is to try and step this way. So stepping in, and the follow through is as if you're going to walk to the next posture. So once again, slowly coming in, inside, this hand's covering his punch and turning to walk. So it's a variation of some of the single palm change movements. And at speed, the seventh palm starts with some of the lateral chopping movements that we saw in Laobajang, in the seventh Laobajang palm, but it expands on them by adding other techniques and combining them with vertical chops. So in our walking the circle, we start with a downward pressing or downward dropping palm to potentially attack the lower body, and then draw back to strike, walking away to chop, and then chop vertically, striking upward. And now, in a movement reminiscent of Xingyi, the golden cock stands on one leg and pecks the rice, turning to the cock throwing the wings and piercing out. Black dragon waves its tail, pierce, kick, sparrowhawk spirals up to heaven, walk, a tight circle, and then on to the bigger circle. So again, starting with the inward wrapping movement, downward pressing, strike laterally, and then vertically. The cock stands on one leg, pecks the rice, throws the wings, and pierce, black dragon, pierce, sparrowhawk, and walk. So, in looking at applications, this movements start with the downward dropping palm, which we showed in earlier to strike the hip, to strike the knee. We're going to, instead of using that one, we'll start with the lateral chopping palms. So as Nelson punches, I'm coming across to try a throw, to spin him backwards, but he stops my hand, and so I turn and walk away, which drives my chop deeper. If he continues to press me off, that spins me into the vertical chops. So again, from a situation here where I move in to strike, I change and cut, and then spin to vertical chop and walk behind. And my second chop is coming here. If I'm too close, it can become an elbow strike. So looking at it a little bit quicker, the second application, we've already seen the chopping hands before, so let's look at the Xingyi type movement of the cock stands on one leg and the follow-up moves to it. As Nelson, we'll do a jab cross. As Nelson comes in with the jab cross, I'm going to pick this up by lifting upward. If he comes in hard, I'll crouch the body down behind it and then change to strike. As he covers that hand, he sets himself up to be punched either under the ribs or to suppress the hand and attack straight into the body. So looking at it again, slowly from a jab and a cross, changing to attack the face. If he covers that, moving in to cover the elbow and strike the ribs. So it drives this way. And again, from the jab cross, okay, now we're going to look at the eighth palm, and just like in Laobajang, where we saw three pierces coming one upon the other, which makes them difficult to stop, with a changing rhythm, we're going to see this twice in this palm. So remember in Laobajang, we had a retreat and a strike, and then another strike, this triple piercing palm. And here we're going to see it in the middle of the palm and at the very end. So we're walking the circle, wrap inward, the immortal watches the chess game. So the eyes look at the back of the hands, which brings the head forward to strike. at the same time as the palms are striking. The cat washes the face with a retreating step. And then piercing the ear with a strike, followed by 2 pierces. So here are 3 piercing palms. 1, 2, 3. And then turning to wave the lotus, piercing down, and overturning. The giant snake turns over its body, piercing down again, and spinning to drop low. And pierce, pierce, pierce. So again, we're ending with a triple piercing palm, dropping low, pierce, pierce, and walk out. So one more time. Turning. The immortal watches the chess game. Wash the face. Strike the ear. 2 pierces. Turn and kick. Pierce down. The giant snake turns its body. Pierce down. And drop low to 3 pierces. Okay, let's look at the immortal watches the chess game. So we're using a combination of a cat washes face plus this inward cutting palm. As Nelson comes in, come in a little bit here. I'm cutting things off, and then I'm going to come straight down the center to attack. This has to smother this hand while the head strikes forward and the palms strike forward. So again, in slow motion, retreating, cutting, and moving in to strike. Right? My head can hit anywhere except his forehead. So if he turns his head, I'm striking the side of the head at the temple. This hand is striking the chest. So a little bit at speed. So let's look now at the cat washes its face. Followed, so that we wash the face twice, strike the ear, and double pierce. All right, so if Nelson's coming in with a jab cross, I'm parrying them and striking the ear. As he covers here, he opens the center to 2 pierces. So even if he covers this one, the second one goes in. All right, again, with the jab, cross, pierce the ear. So again, if you look at this slowly, we're using the black dragon waves its tail, retreating and striking to the ear. As he covers, I pierce and pierce again. And quicker. Then we have strike the lotus. So as Nelson comes in, I'm moving to strike to the outside. This can kick the tailbone, but it's also stepping down into the back leg. So the initial movement is to parry and strike the face. And as I parry, I'm skidding along here, piercing along his arm in an arc, and then whipping it into the face with the body action. Then following the step down into the center of his stance. This can also be done as like a turning back movement. I'm dealing with something here. I detect Nelson coming in. I can use it to turn, in which case I might not be able to pick up the leg. So he comes in to punch. And now we're going to look at one of the later moves in the form, coming in the form from an overhead cover to the giant snake turns over its body, using this extended palm position. This can be useful in a case of a clash. So we clash, Nelson's starting to bring my hand down and gain the advantage, so I can roll it over using the turning body motion to get to the inside and attack the groin. All right, so again, as we clash and he's pressing my palm, I'm turning everything over, which also uses this ball rolling motion, and then coming in to attack the groin. So a little bit quicker, we clash. This completes volume 3 of Liang-style Bagua concepts. In the previous tapes, we looked at Ding Shi, which is the fixed posture Bagua, the Lao Ba Zhang, which are the basic palm changes. And this form, the Bagua Lianwan, builds on the previous forms. In Bagua Lianwan, it's very important to remember that we're using what's called a dragon body, or cloud swimming dragon motions, because the Chinese view the dragon as being able to fly or swim through the clouds in an undulating manner. And it's basically flies not with wings, but with a yin-yang polarity shift, where the yin and yang oscillate backwards and forwards, driving the dragon forward. So in movements like the cat washes its face and piercing the ear, we want to engage the dragon body so that the rib cage is moving supplely in coordination with the legs to drive the techniques. It also makes your movements more unpredictable to the opponent because it's hard for them to tell, am I moving this way? Am I moving back to the left again? In essence, we're giving, just like the dragon's yin-yang polarity shift, we're giving a potentiation, a shift in either direction at any time. Thank you. I hope this series of DVDs will be helpful in your practice of martial arts. 2 years ago, I did a book on Liang-style Bagua with Gao Jiwu in Beijing. He's a very respected teacher of the Liang style who mixes both Yin Fu lineage with Liang style lineage through his grandfather and father. It's called The Essentials of Bagua Zhang, and it presents many of the same concepts that are being presented in these 3 volumes of DVDs. The Ding Shi is covered in detail along with memorized poems that are helpful in remembering the key points of holding each posture. The Bagua Lian is covered in detail with pictures of every movement. And there's a theoretical discussion about Bagua, Neigong, standing postures, and the basic principles of Bagua, as well as some elements about kicking and joint locking. So if you like these DVDs, this book may be very useful to your practice.